If I die as a solo player, I just quit the match. Dying as a solo player just makes me quit the game for the time being. It's far too punishing.
Lately, I've been playing the entire Resident Evil series, and after completing the remake of Resident Evil 4, I realized how much I missed playing games like these. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they don't make them anymore, but don't you feel like we're not getting enough of these games? It just hit me. The immersive experience I got from Resident Evil is just hard to find these days. And with the rise of multiplayer games in recent years, could it be that single-player games we grew up loving might be approaching an end? While multiplayer games haven't completely hogged the spotlight over single-player titles, they have certainly taken every gamer's attention. It's disheartening to think that this could signal the death of solo gaming experiences. According to an IGN interview, the problem is that as more people play the same games longer, they necessarily buy fewer new games, and that's where the desire for more revenue arises. It's no wonder that more players are moving to multiplayer games that offer a steady dose of excitement, and all of us love endless fun. Publishers and developers, of course, are seeing this trend, and they don't want to make games that won't earn them profits. The profitability of single-player games is not necessarily dying, but it's obvious that the gaming industry is shifting its focus toward the production of multiplayer and co-op games. Multiplayer games generally have longer player retention, heightened community engagement, and a consistent money flow for developers. Plus, they can add features like microtransactions, additional content, and even gambling mechanics. Players will be more inclined to invest in skins and cosmetics, and they'll have the opportunity to show off these items in a multiplayer environment. From a business perspective, a multiplayer game just tends to be the smarter move. Unlike single-player games where players can complete the experience and sell their copy after they're done with it, multiplayer games don't have what we call an end game. The ongoing gameplay will only encourage a continuous player base, also increasing the likelihood of new players buying the game and providing developers with an opportunity to introduce and monetize additional content. Simply put, multiplayer games outshine single-player counterparts in terms of longevity. If you take a glance at Twitch, you'll see the most popular streamers diving into Fortnite and Valorant, drawing even more attention to the multiplayer scene. The generation of gamers today also grew up with online multiplayer becoming the backbone of the gaming world. It sort of feels like it's very hard for other gamers nowadays to enjoy single-player games, especially for those who started in a multiplayer environment. Leaderboards, levels, ranks, scores, and all the competitiveness and social dynamics that come with multiplayer games are the main reasons some players find it hard to go back to solo gaming experiences. It also doesn't help the fact that major game studios have been churning out what seems like an endless stream of lackluster, big-budget AAA titles. I'm talking about games that immerse players in tense and unique scenarios, introduce compelling and likable characters, and craft a truly immersive world worth investing your time in. If we look back from a few years ago, there was a notable surge in exceptional single-player games during the 2010s. The games that really left a mark on me were the Mass Effect series, Nier Automata, Red Dead Redemption 2, Dead Space, and more that stood out as memorable single-player experiences I could never forget. Yet, the current gaming landscape seems dominated by live service games and mindless open-world titles that, more often than not, are just boring and endless grinding that makes you throw away your mouse and keyboard. My personal encounter with this was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a remarkable game, no doubt, but the excessive grinding it required me to progress detracted me from enjoying the main quest. I do understand that grinding is optional and you can finish the game without it. However, the issues lie in the bloated story and the repetitive, grind-heavy nature of the side content, which diminishes the overall fun and excitement. The breaking point for me with Assassin's Creed Odyssey was adding a microtransaction to help you with the game. Buying a $10 XP boost will help you grind your way faster to upgrade your gear. At that point, it felt less like playing a game and more like doing a chore. I was trapped in an unending loop of resource gathering, level grinding, and tedious fetch quests. Also, is it just me or is anyone else growing tired of the wave of old games being remasters and remakes? While I understand that it's nostalgic to revisit our beloved classics with enhanced gameplay and graphics, my concern lies in the repetitive content we gamers are getting. It seems developers might also be inclined just to stop creating new games altogether, opting instead to recycle old titles, updating them with superior graphics to rake in millions from consumers effortlessly. For game companies, it's basically printing money for zero effort. Churning out lazy remasters and remakes may cause them to lose the motivation to conceive fresh narratives or pioneer groundbreaking and experimental mechanics for players to explore. Remastered games have proven to be commercial successes. It appears that players, by large, actually prefer revisiting familiar territory, clinging to the same characters and story they already knew, just with an updated new code of graphics. New AAA games or new IPs struggle to turn a profit, and recent releases have left much to be desired. Take the highly anticipated No Man's Sky, for instance, developed by Hello Games. It promised to be the ultimate single-player experience in action-adventure survival space exploration. Upon its release, players were met with huge disappointments. I'm not even exaggerating. The game's servers crashed for days. Hello Games, its indie developer, also promised a spectacular ending for players who reached the center of the universe. However, the reality fell short of expectations. Once players achieve this feat, the game just resets back to zero where they crash-landed on a new planet and do the same repetitive thing again. The developers just blatantly lied and exaggerated to their players to garner hype and marketing for the game. Redfall and Cyberpunk 2077 also serve as prime examples. Everyone was pumped to play Cyberpunk, a project that underwent a lengthy 9-year development journey at the hands of CD Projekt Red, renowned for their work on the Witcher series. Fans naturally were eager to dive into the latest creation from such esteemed developers. From its announcement in 2011, the Cyberpunk project garnered positive attention and immense hype. Boasting a staggering budget of $300 million, it secured its place among the most expensive video games ever created, surpassing even the likes of Grand Theft Auto 5. They even included Keanu Reeves as a character in the game, making him a significant figure in the game's marketing efforts, and was featured prominently in their presentations and game trailers. CD Projekt Red co-founder Marcin Iwinski even confidently declared during a summer presentation in 2012, "This may be a set of bold statements. If you don't believe me, look at our Witcher games. We will deliver truly outstanding futuristic RPG, setting a totally new standard for the genre." However, the hell started upon the game's release. With 8 million pre-orders, the fans eagerly anticipated playing Cyberpunk 2077 after enduring numerous delays. Yet, within a few hours of release, both fans and critics discovered that the Cyberpunk 2077 they had envisioned didn't align with the promised awesomeness. Shockingly, the final game was plagued with glitches and bugs across PCs and consoles. Players encountered frequent crashes, faceless characters, and bizarre occurrences like characters moving through physical walls and objects. There were just so many more problems during Cyberpunk's release that all the pre-release hype felt like a scam. Redfall from Arcane Studios also suffered a similarly disastrous launch. Riddled with bad reviews after release, Redfall was deemed a complete waste of time and money. Criticisms from players highlighted problems with its AI, an empty game world, and subpar performance even on high-end PCs. Reviews also pointed out that characters in the game lacked depth, leaving many players with a sour taste, branding it unworthy of its AAA status and its $70 price tag. Are single-player games now truly on life support, or is it merely a case of developers refusing to evolve and adapt to what is keeping players hooked? Titles like Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring showed us that the single-player experience can still thrive. Developers even found ingenious ways to integrate multiplayer elements into single-player experiences. Just look at games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and Dark Souls, which offer a multiplayer component within a predominantly single-player world. The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Final Fantasy VII Remake have all secured positions in the top 10 best-selling games of their time in 2020. Acclaimed titles such as God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Devil May Cry 5, and numerous others have also demonstrated substantial success in the past couple of years. Clearly, the market for single-player games remains robust, with these releases proving that captivating narratives and immersive solo experiences continue to captivate and resonate with players. However, we can't deny there are just fewer options for gamers compared to the good old days. It's also not helping that it's the game publishers themselves who want to shift their focus more to multiplayer or live service models, which can truly be discouraging. As gamers, we hold the power to shape the industry. The success of titles like The Last of Us, Final Fantasy, and Elden Ring, along with other standout single-player games in recent years, is a testament to the demand for quality solo experiences. Our role now is to continue supporting these titles and vocally expressing our desire for more captivating stories and immersive gameplay.